how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is my reading wrap-up Get Ready With Me, where I do my full face and I chat about all the books I read in the previous month. As always, this will be as spoiler-free as possible. I'm just giving you my general gist, my thoughts. Basically, we're just chatting about books while I do my makeup. I love doing these videos. I love those of you who love these videos too. It means so much to me. It's just such a fun little corner where we can talk about makeup and books at the same time, and it's just so much fun. I always love hearing what you've been reading lately, so leave your book recommendations down below, whether it's for me or for anyone. Before we hop into the video itself, as far as my accessory details go, unfortunately this choker was a gift, and then I just have these earrings from Primark, little plugs from Amazon, nothing too crazy. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in, chat about some books, play with makeup. Okay, we're gonna get into it. I think I have 11 books to talk about and one DNF, so I guess 12 things total, but as far as like my count goes, 11. I'm gonna go ahead and just prime while I chit chat. This is the Merit Priming Moisturizer. I like my primer to really sink into the skin before I start going with my products. But hello, how's it going? Fun fact about this, it's actually Halloween the day I'm filming this because it's going up tomorrow. But throughout this week, I've like already started pre-filming a bunch of stuff for November, some of which includes like holiday releases. So I wanted to have the holiday background for November. And since this video is going up in November as well, it's Christmas, but it's Halloween. And honestly, the look that I'm gonna do today is gonna channel witchy vibes because I want to throw on like a witch hat for when trick-or-treaters come, hopefully. I don't know for sure if they'll come, but hopefully trick-or-treaters will come later and I can have like witchy aesthetic and it'll be fun. So we have conflicting holidays happening. So there's that. But yeah, as always, I'm just gonna chat about all the books that I read, give you my non-spoiler thoughts on all of them, the general gist, my rating, stuff like that while I do my makeup. As I'm chit-chatting, if I forget to mention a product that's going on my face, it'll all be in the description box down below, as well as all the books I'm going to talk about. I'll have all of those linked down below as well. So I guess we will get started. The first book I read was an ebook off the Libby app. It was Out on a Limb. I loved this book. This has been highly recommended from multiple people. I think I initially saw this book recommendation from my friend Christina. Her Instagram is Chrissy's Paperback. You should check her out if you like Bookstagram accounts because she's so good at it. I'm just doing a little e.l.f. Hydrating CC cream with a mixture of the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Liquid Highlighter. I'm just gonna swirl all that together. But I loved this book. It was a 5-star read, starting out the month with a bang. I was so enamored by this. Basically, we have our characters Win and Beau. They meet at their friend's Halloween party. Basically, they just get to chatting. They have a little bit of chemistry and they end up having a one-night stand. Well, that ends up turning into an accidental pregnancy. And I will say accidental pregnancy is not normally a trope that I care about. It's not something I seek out, not something I really care to read personally, but this book did it so well. I ate it up. Beau was the most wonderful, like golden retriever guy ever. Just so sweet, so compassionate. I loved him. Winnie is so funny, and I just really, really enjoyed these characters navigating their relationship and figuring out like how they're gonna go about this situation with having a child, but not really being together or not even really knowing each other for that matter. Their communication was so good. I love when characters have good communication in a book. It drives me crazy when like miscommunication is like the main underlying premise. The writing style was so good. I am so looking forward to reading more of this author's books. There was a really good disability representation with both characters as well. It was all just really nice to see. It was so wholesome and so incredible, and I enjoyed every second of this book. I thought it was so good. I'm gonna conceal now with my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer while we talk about my next book, which was Wolf Gone Wild. I really enjoyed this. I'm so happy I'm finally starting this series. Basically, Mateo is a werewolf and he's currently dealing with a hex that is not allowing him to change into his werewolf form. He seeks out help from this hex breaker witch. Her name is Evie, and he's hoping that she can get him back to normal, basically. Her and the rest of her coven start working together to figure out who could have caused this, what exactly is it, how do we break it, all kinds of stuff. She also ends up spending a lot of her time with Mateo because he's found that just when he's in her presence, the like feelings of his inner wolf don't feel as like urgent and prominent, he's able to kind of feel a little more calm and settled. This was super cute. It was funny. It was magical. It was kind of like a, you know, a forced proximity, like strangers to friends to lovers sort of vibe. I liked the witch werewolf dynamic. I really like these magical stories too that are set like in more of a modern world. It's kind of just like a regular romance, but with like magical characters. Like it's not a full-on fantasy. It's just like kind of like contemporary rom-com sort of vibes, but with a magical little twist. It's very cute. It was very fun for like October especially, but I mean, I like these kinds of books year round. I just loved seeing their friendship blossom. I loved just seeing the impact they had on each other. I loved seeing how it all grew. Parts of it were very cheesy and very predictable, but you know, sometimes I like that in a book like this. It doesn't have to be anything world-changing, but I still really enjoyed it. I liked all the side characters. I'm excited to just get to know more characters as the series continues. Ended up giving it a solid 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, I mentioned I already have the second one, so excited to get into that one and then hopefully continue the series. I hope the series stays good. I don't want to like get invested and then it not be so great anymore, but so far so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm just using my e.l.f. Halo Glow contour wand now. The next book I read was another ebook through the Libby app through the library, and it was Primetime Romance. I was very excited. This is the same author as This Spells Love that I read at the end of last year, and I loved with my whole heart, so I was really excited to read another book from her because I really enjoyed her writing style. Basically, we have Bryn. She's just like, I don't know, not her best. She finds comfort in rewatching her favorite show that she grew up watching in like high school. She watches it all the time and basically just tries to escape reality. One night on her birthday, she was dragged to a bar, ended up going home, finding comfort yet again with her favorite show, Carson's Cove. She's just watching it on the couch with her roommate, who she doesn't know super well. It was just like her brother's friend, and now he just is her roommate. They don't really have a strong relationship or anything. Really quick, I'm using the Unearthly Paranormal Plush cream blushes. I've been loving these. This one's in the shade Burnt Rose. I love. I'm just gonna apply this cream and then powder my face and then go in with like powder blush and highlight and all that jazz. I just wanted to stop and showcase this for a second because I think it's lovely and it blends so good. So, so pretty. She's hanging out with Josh, the roommate. She ends up making a birthday wish, wakes up only to find herself in Carson's Cove. She is in this fictional TV show that she's so obsessed with. Basically, she was put in there as the main character of the show with the goal of giving everyone their perfect ending. I'm pretty sure the show had like gotten canceled, so the mystical reason that she's there is to create a perfect ending for the show that never happened. It was really fun seeing how Bryn navigated being in this setting that she's romanticized for so long. She was also able to get a lot of self-discovery for herself. We're also going back and forth, not only between Bryn's point of view, but also Josh's point of view. He's also going through his own personal issues, his own personal fears and insecurities and stuff like that. So he's also navigating that while he is stuck in the world too. He got warped into this with her. Must have just been a proximity thing. I really enjoyed seeing how Bryn and Josh kind of navigated being in this very odd situation together, how their friendship and relationship grew and evolved. And even though this is like a completely fictional TV show, I just felt like I was there. Like I felt like I could visualize everything. I feel like it was very much just based off of, you know, any like cliche like teen drama sort of show. So it was very easy to picture myself there. And I'm somebody who rewatches my favorite comfort shows all the time. So I very much related to that feeling of like wanting to escape and be in your favorite other setting that's not real life. It was whimsical, it was cheesy, it was cozy. I enjoyed it. I did not like it as much as This Spells Love, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was easy and it was just comforting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I feel like it was a good balance of like a little bit of romance mixed with just like general self-discovery. It was super fun. And of course there's like the magical whimsy with the being teleported into your favorite show. That's just not something that happens every day. Moving on was my next 5-star read of the month. I had 3 5-star reads this month. It was a great reading month, but I read Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the same world as Icebreaker. It's the 3rd in the like Icebreaker trilogy. I loved this so much. So we have our characters, Henry and Hallie. Henry is a side character that's appeared in the first 2 books, and I love Henry. I've enjoyed just the snippets of him so far, so I was so excited to get to like his story. This was just so great. These are just fun like college hockey romances, and they're not so heavy on the sports that it bores me because I'm not a sports person, but I love this world. I love the setting. I'm not somebody who went to like traditional college and like lived on campus. So I kind of love these books that are set that way because it's different for me. I enjoyed a lot. Henry is having a difficult time in his classes and it's impacting his role being like the captain of the hockey team. I'm gonna quickly use the shade Hope, the luminous powder blush from Rare Beauty, to dust on my cheeks as well. He ends up meeting and befriending Hallie and seeks out help from her. She's had this specific professor in the past, so she's able to give him some guidance. Hallie is struggling to write her first romance novel. She is so sweet. She very much captures like eldest daughter energy, which I relate to so hard. Like that feeling of like, you have to help everyone all the time. You are always like mom's extra set of arms, just responsible for everyone around you and putting everyone else first. I related to this heavily, but she's struggling trying to write her first romance book because she doesn't really have a whole lot of experience in that department. Basically, because she's helping Henry out with his school stuff, he ends up making a deal with her that he'll like take her on dates and kind of give her like this dating experience so that she can write her book more successfully. It was so cute. I loved the way they interacted. I loved the way they evolved. Again, the communication was so good. I just thought they were perfect puzzle pieces together. It was amazing. I also just adored seeing not only how they evolved like together with their relationship, but just even as individuals. It was so sweet. I loved the cameos from other characters from the books that I've read previously in this series. It was just so sweet and wonderful. This was an easy 5-star. It was so, so good. I was so happy to be back in this world, and this has been my favorite of the series so far, easily. Next up, I read The Island by Adrienne McKenty. This had been recommended to me a while ago, and I picked this book up a long time ago at like a Friends of the Library sale for super cheap, and finally got around to reading it. I figured spooky season, great time for a spooky book. I mean, again, I'll read anything, anytime, but it just seemed fitting. So we have Heather, her husband, and his 2 children are traveling to Australia. I think it was like for a work trip for him. They end up venturing off to a smaller island in Australia to just get more of like a nature experience. They haven't seen enough koala bears. They need more nature, more Australia. After an accident occurs on this small island, the family finds themselves fearing for their lives from the locals that are living there. I don't want to say too much, especially when it's a thriller. I feel like a lot of it just needs to be unfolded, unlike a romance novel where like the tropes are tropes for a reason. So I can't really say too much else, but it was very much like a survival thriller kind of vibe set in Australia. Overall, it was an enjoyable like survival thriller, but it wasn't like anything that I was so incredibly sucked into. Like I was reading it just kind of casually. I didn't feel that urge to like never put the book down and figure out what was gonna happen next. I did also switch between physical and audio for this because frankly, there were times that I just like had to get stuff done and didn't have time to read. So I wanted to continue the story in ways. So audio helped with that a lot. And I did enjoy the audio for this actually. There'd be times where like, say dogs would be barking and you would actually hear dogs barking in the background. So it was really cool. Or like you'd hear rain going. It wasn't like a crazy cinematic kind of audiobook, but it was entertaining. I liked it. I did find myself though with this book, never quite sure who to trust and what fully was gonna go down. Like I had predictions, but for the most part, it wasn't anything life-changing for me. I couldn't decide between 3 and 4 stars. I ended up going with a 3 just because I figured if I was having any doubts on if it was a 3 or a 4, then it was probably a 3. But don't get me wrong, a 3 is not bad in my eyes. It just wasn't something that I was like, I love this. Next up was another book that I did through the Libby app, Rewitch. This is a debut novel, and I was very excited to get into this. I know the author is a booktuber. I don't personally watch her. I just heard about her through other booktubers, and that she was coming out with a book. So then when it became a thing, I was like, oh, I definitely want to read this when it comes out. Real quick, I'm going to be highlighting with the Moonchild palette from Jolie Beauty. I'm going to use Rituals, the green, because I'm going to do a green look today. This one, unfortunately, was a DNF, and I felt so bad DNFing this one because I was really excited about her debut novel. I got about 20% of the way through, and I just decided, like, I just frankly didn't care. I didn't really want to read this one anymore, so I did end up putting it down to move on to other things. I just think it probably wasn't for me. Basically, we have Bella. She is a witch living among mundanes. When her 30th birthday arrives, she is faced with a magical trial that basically decides if she keeps her powers or not. That's pretty much all I know because obviously I didn't read the whole book. There's also supposedly a slow burn romance in the mix, but I didn't get that far, so I can't really speak on it. I was super excited for this and just like the magical vibes, but I just feel like something about the writing just wasn't it for me. I just found some parts just dragging a bit too much, or it was like too ultra descriptive with certain things that didn't need to be, and I just found myself not feeling invested. And again, I wouldn't go as far as to say this is a bad book by any means. I just don't think it was for me. I just don't think it was my writing style. And obviously I wish the author the absolute best, and I'm sure there's people who would love this book. It just wasn't mine. Next, I wanted just something quick and easy and fluffy, and I will get into that after I set my face, and then we'll move on to the eyes. Ooh, okay, so next, I just wanted something quick and easy and something I knew would be just like fun and zero brain power. So again, through the Libby app, I checked out Phantom Pond. It is a Shady Hollow mystery. I love the Shady Hollow books. I have all 5 of them so far. And as these have come out, there's also like little novellas that have come out. And I didn't get around to reading this one last year, so I wanted to read it now. It is a Halloween little short story, and it was so cute. But it was just a fun, quick little short story set in the Shady Hollow world. I really can't say too much about it without like just telling you the entire short story, but they're just cozy little mysteries. Our main character is Vera Vixen. She is an investigative reporter, and she's a fox. All of the characters in these books are animals, but they're like, I don't want to say humanoid because that sounds scary. They're just like little critters that like, you know, wear clothes and have jobs. Think Fantastic Mr. Fox if you've ever seen that movie. That's what I picture when I read these books. They're just like animals, but they behave like people. This one is just specifically set on Halloween night. There's mysteries revolving Phantom Pond. A kid goes missing. We have to figure out what happened. It was just a fun, cozy little Halloween-y mystery, and I enjoyed it. This one takes place between the 4th and 5th books specifically, but again, it literally just takes place like on Halloween and like the day after, so it's not anything crazy. I feel like for the most part, I just always give these books 3 stars because I recognize they're not anything life-changing, they're not anything profound, but I do really enjoy them. I think they're cute, I think they're cozy, I think they're fun. There is a Christmassy short story as well that I will get to probably in December, maybe November if I'm just itching for it sooner. But I just love this world. I think it's fun, I think it's cute. Before we talk about more books, I figured I would tell you my plans for my look. This is the Spellbound palette from Jolie Beauty. I've already played with this once on like Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and I've really enjoyed it. This is my favorite Jolie Beauty palette so far. I just feel like the shimmers are actually like so shifty and sparkly. A lot of my problems with their palettes in the past have just been that they're full of like very subtle satiny shimmers, and then a couple like special ones. This one's just full of special shimmers, so it's great. I want a green look today. I'm basically going to be using this row over here, and I'll blend a little bit with Spiritual, so my mattes are going to be like mostly the 2 greens with the blue. I do want to deepen up with the black, and then this green is going to go all over my lid, and then I'll highlight with the white. That's kind of my vibe today. I just want a smoky green look. The next book I read was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This is a kind of atmospheric retelling of Poe's Followed the House of Usher. I was very interested in seeing what this would be about because, I mean, I know Followed the House of Usher. I haven't seen the show version yet, but like I know the story. And I was very curious to see what this was gonna be about. So we have Alex. When he hears that his childhood friend is super sick, he sets out to the House of Usher to see if he can be of any assistance. He wants to be there since she's dying. He just feels the need to be at this ancestral home. As he's there, he keeps finding weird stuff like possessed creatures, a creepy lake, Madeline, the friend, she's sleepwalking and saying bizarre things in the middle of the night. It's all just very strange, very weird. He's working on trying to unravel the secrets of the house and what's going on. He wants to get all of this solved before more spooky stuff goes down. This was a super fast and fun read. Maybe fun's not the right word. Interesting. Interesting read. Creepy vibes, super immersive. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was, I feel like, exactly what it needed to be. Just like a quick read, creepy atmosphere. I very much enjoyed it. I think if you like that kind of vibe, I think you'd really like it. Oh my gosh. Next up was my 3rd 5-star read of the month. I loved this. I would love to read this again for the first time ever. Highly recommend. V.E. Schwab's The Invisible Life of Addie Laroo. This has been recommended to me so many times, and I'm so glad I finally got around to reading it. In the 1700s, Adeline makes a deal out of basically desperation. She is going through things she doesn't want to be going through, and she makes a deal, and it ends up turning into a curse. She ends up being cursed to live forever and to be forgotten. So she wanders around for centuries upon centuries, never being remembered. Every time she meets someone, it's like they're meeting her for the first time. She can't leave her mark on the world in any way. She can't write. She can't do anything. She can't even say her name. She's very much alone. The way this is written is we get different perspectives of modern day, which in the book it's 2014, I believe, and various time periods throughout her existence from the 1700s up until now. Eventually, in the more modern setting of the book, she ends up meeting somebody who actually is able to remember her. It was such an adventurous book. It was whimsical and magical. It was also just so romantic and just so wonderful. I loved this story. I loved just being immersed in this concept, because that's such an unreal concept of being able to live forever but not be remembered at all. Like, you're just bouncing around day by day, not able to make any kind of mark for yourself on the world or for anything. I was so sucked in from beginning to end. I felt like I was living this life with her. And typically in books, I just adore lots of dialogue. I love banter. I just love talking. And this book, while it does have dialogue, don't get me wrong, it's also very just storytelling and descriptive. And sometimes that can bore me in books, but this was just beautiful. The way it was written was so good. I was so immersed. I loved every single second of this. I want to read more of her books so bad. I got some recommendations on my recent monthly favorites video where I mentioned this book. So if you have any more, I mean, I'm happy to write them down. I mean, if you have any book recommendations ever, let me know, because I'm always writing down book recommendations. I love. This was such a fantastic read. I enjoyed it so much. The way it ended was just so emotional. I loved it. Moving on, I went with another thriller. This was Watching You by Lisa Jewell. I was so excited to dive into this book because I read Then She Was Gone earlier this year, and I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so fast-paced and wonderful. It was such a good thriller. So I was very excited to read another one of her books because I really enjoy her writing style. It's very fast-paced, keeps you on your toes. This story starts out in a quaint English neighborhood. Everything is just, you know, kind of boring. It just kind of is. Nothing crazy ever happens until someone is dead in their kitchen. What happened? Who did it? Who saw it? Who knows anything? That's what we're gonna figure out. Turns out all the neighbors have secrets. Everyone is watching everyone all the time. Weird relationships are developing amongst this story. Crushes and affairs are happening. Teachers are being weird. It's just a whole slew of things going on in this town. Overall, this was an easy, fun ride. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it as much as Then She Was Gone. I don't know. Something about it just didn't have me as sucked in. I feel like some parts were predictable while some parts I didn't expect at all. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was boring or anything. I did end up settling on a 3-star for this book. And, you know, I feel like it's mostly just because I really didn't care about the characters. And, like, sometimes I enjoy a book where the characters, for the most part, aren't likable. Like, that's what makes the characters interesting, is the fact that they're not likable. But these characters were unlikable to the point that I just didn't care about them. I didn't even hate them or anything. I just didn't care. So it's not that I ever felt the need to DNF this book by any means. I was still interested in where the story was going, but I just wasn't as invested as I might have been with, like, other thrillers I've read. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. And I still would like to read more of her books. We are on the last 2 books now. Can you believe it? This is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. I really enjoyed this world. That is the 3rd of a series. The first one is like Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. The second one was A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch. I can't believe I'm even remembering that. And then this one is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. These are, again, similar to Wolf Gone Wild, where it's like a modern day setting just with magical characters. Like, we have witches and demons and vampires and werewolves and pixies and all kinds of characters. I mean, our girl here is actually a vampire succubus. Like, there's just all kinds of magical characters happening in this world, and it's very fun. Werewolf Ben is super sweet, so successful, but he's also very timid and awkward. He's constantly feeling like anxious, feels like he's better off alone, that sort of vibe. After feeling exceptionally alone after a wedding, he gets super drunk, makes his way home, and then finds himself buying a bizarre eBay listing of this possessed crystal. Well, turns out it was actually a real listing, and the crystal shows up, and out pops a vampire succubus combo. Her name is Eleanor. She's been trapped inside this crystal for a long time. She was cursed by an evil witch to be trapped in the crystal, and she wants revenge. And technically, now that Ben owns the crystal, he's also in charge of Eleanor now. So like if he wanted her to do anything at all, she would have no choice but to obey. Obviously, since Ben is just so sweet and so pure, he's not gonna do that. He ends up working together with Eleanor to try to help her escape from this curse and be back to being her own person again. It was super fun. It was super sweet. I enjoyed watching their relationship evolve, especially because they were such different characters. While he is like so soft and sweet and timid, she is like spicy, throwing knives kind of energy. I love the quirky characters. I was really happy to be back in this world. I don't know if there's gonna be more books set in this world, but I personally would not be mad if there were. I would be very interested in just seeing more of these characters' stories because there's so many fun, quirky side characters. I really enjoy it. But I ended up giving that book 4 stars. It's just cute. It's a fun time. I really greatly enjoy it. It was cute. It's gonna pop on my Bella Beauty Bar shimmer stay before I throw my green shimmer all over everything. I think that's gonna really take this to the next level. Looks like this. It kind of looks scary before it's done. Oh, that is beautiful. It's kind of like a blue-green almost. It's really, really pretty. I'm excited to see how this shifts on the lid. Oh, that is, whoa. That is stunning. I'm gonna be like witchy mermaid energy today. Like sea witch. I love it. I hope you guys had a good Halloween, by the way, since this video is going up tomorrow on November 1st. I'm having a pretty chill day, actually. Like I'm obviously getting work done right now. Like I intend on getting this video completed and posted and scheduled today. So I'm taking a little time to do some work, but I'm also just enjoying Halloween. Like I made my cat's boo baskets, just some fun times. So while I highlight my inner corner and then do like my eye pencil and mascara and all that jazz, we can talk about my final book, which was My Vampire Plus One by Jenna Levine. I finished this morning in preparation for this video. I actually wasn't sure if I would finish this book before this month ended, but I managed to do it. This is the second in a series. The first one is My Roommate's a Vampire. I read it earlier this year and I really enjoyed it. It was quirky and cute and cheesy, but like exactly what I needed. Again, we're kind of in a modern world, but there just happens to be vampires. Like vampires are real in this world. Maybe they're real in our world and we just don't know yet. Who knows? At least I don't know. Maybe one of you knows. This was fun. It's cheesy. It's a little corny. Just a fun little vampire rom-com. We have Amelia. She's like a super driven, workaholic CPA. She's also very, very single, and when an invitation for her cousin's wedding shows up, she sets out to find somebody to fake date for the wedding to get her family off her back. After a random run-in with Reginald, she ends up deciding that he would basically be a perfect fit for this situation. And he ends up being very down to help her. Little does she know though, he's a vampire and he mostly decides to go along with this because he thinks posing as a human plus one would be great fun. Throughout their fake dating relationship, they are learning they actually really enjoy each other just like on a real level. I loved their banter. I loved how opposite their personalities were. It was funny watching her come to the realization when she finds out he's a vampire. It was goofy. It was funny. I liked the kind of, again, fake dating, opposites attract sort of vibe. I liked seeing how they were able to help each other out in various aspects. It was a good read. It was fun. 4 stars, pretty solid. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed this one. Again, I don't know if there are more coming in this series, but I like this world. I think these characters are cute. I liked seeing cameos to our characters from the first book, and it was just a fun time. I really enjoyed it. I feel like I had a pretty good reading month. Like obviously I did DNF one book, unfortunately, but again, I don't even think it was a bad book. I just think it wasn't for me. But everything else I read was pretty solid, because even for me, 3 stars aren't bad. They're just kind of like middle of the road enjoyable. I feel like it was good, especially because I got 3 5-star reads. Like that was crazy. Usually I'm lucky if I get 1 5-star reads. 4 stars is the most common that I give out, because if I just like enjoy the book for the most part, like it's probably going to be a 4-star. It becomes a 5-star if it feels like my entire personality. Like I'm going to talk about it forever. I'm going to think about it forever. I get a special feeling. It's just great. I just finished throwing on my mascara, the Rare Beauty one, and now I'm going to throw my lip on. This is the Menagerie Cricket Liquid Lip. I just felt like I needed a black lip today. I just love a black lip. I could wear a black lip every day, honestly. It looks pretty good. I need to do something with this hair now though. Thanks so much for watching. I love so much how this makeup turned out. I think it's so pretty. The eyeshadow is just so good. I love this like emeraldy teal sort of shade that's going on. It's very much like a blue-green combo. I love it with the black lip. I love the whole vibe that's happening right now. It's very good. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts, whether it's on the makeup, the books I chatted about. Have you read any of them? Do you want to read any of them? And again, feel free to leave your book recommendations of what you've enjoyed lately down below. If you made it to the end of this video, leave some bookish emojis. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm BATTYBEAN over there. And if you want, you can subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. You can also subscribe to my second channel. It'll be in my description box if you want additional content. And you're welcome to join my channel memberships. That will also be in the description box. I have a couple different tiers with a couple different perks, and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.